I'll save this because the ball.
All right.
I use all the balls.
What about Anthony?
Well,
That's in the library. No, library. Yeah. Ahí debería. Pero ya se lo está. Okay, we're ready to start. Everybody, as usual, I apologize, but I will have to
Put us on mute.
mute
He's going to
everyone.
put
Yeah, hands outside too, like.
hi there.
I love you is nothing personal.
Go back. Oh, there we go.
I'm making big.
You can put it. Hold on. Yeah. Hello guys, welcome to our fourth episode of Casa Carmen Live. Today's episode is flour, peppers, and shells. And we love to have you guys here where we bring our bodega into your home. I am not sure what to do.
Just as usual, we're solving technical difficulties, but we're almost there. Can everybody hear as well? Just give us a thumbs up if you can hear as well.
Thumbs up.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay.
Like always, if you guys are gonna, do you guys have any questions? Just please send them through the chat on Zoom. I'll be checking them right here.
Indeed. Send us all questions. We love to hear from you. On Zoom is the best way to get questions in. If you're wondering how to log into Zoom, the link is on our posts on Facebook and Instagram. And that's the best way to write questions. The Instagram is difficult because the phone is far away from my hand, and then Facebook, is a little bit easier. But the best one is Zoom. Anyways, kind of the housekeeping stuff too. Just remember, we are continuing to do these tastings on Saturdays. Things are beginning to open up, as many of you know, here in Maryland. But for now, we're continuing to do everything same schedule on Saturdays. If at some point that has to change, we'll let you know a time. But for now, we're sticking to our schedule. Next episode will be on June 13th. And it's going to be called Two Approaches to Octopus. We will be drinking our 2018 Tinto and preparing octopus in two very different ways. One will be with a Alaskan smoked octopus with botija olives. And the other one would be a Spanish classic pulpo a la gallega. So it's really going to be an awesome episode. So
yeah,
be sure
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Food is going to be great.
Yeah, be sure to buy your kit for that one in advance, and I would love for everybody to participate, obviously. But let's get to it. All right, are you ready? By popular demand, the shirts have made a return.
And they're here to stay.
They're here to stay. Yeah, we could not stop getting emails about how amazing they are and how beautiful they are. Yeah. So I want to show them up close. They have hot peppers, tomatoes,
onions, mushrooms.
I think these are Kalamata olives, but we are open to suggestions. All sorts of beautiful vegetables, which we love. We love vegetables as much as we love fish.
Yeah,
and as much as we love meat, and as much as we love all food, and as much as we love all wine.
So hopefully you guys chilled your wine a little bit. We're very, very excited about this Viognier. We just released it this week, as you guys probably know. So tell us a little bit about the wine.
Yeah, a couple of things about the Viognier. This is a limited release, and we'll explain a little bit more why. Or maybe we could just go ahead and talk about that part. Viognier is a tricky grape. Viognier is a Northern Rhone varietal. It's a phenomenal, beautiful grape that is very often, it's as profound and complex, I think, as white wines get. The layers are just truly phenomenal. It's There's Viogniers of all sorts of styles. You have Viogniers that are just crisp and light bodied, stainless steel fermented, but you also have Viogniers that are, very kind of full bodied and that have aged in oak, and that have kind of a lot of different layers and have gone to malolactic fermentation, which develops all those kind of buttery notes that you're usually finding in Chardonnays. So Viognier basically has a very wide range, has a lot of nuance, and look, Viognier is Baroque through and through. It's the kind of varietal that it is absolutely beautiful, but it is self-consciously beautiful. It's like it knows that it is beautiful, and when he walks into the party, you notice that it's walked into the party.
It's the lady in red.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the lady in red of white wines. And it is, you never want to miss a party where Viognier is present, and you will never overlook the presence of Viognier at a party. So it's truly an amazing grape, and it has tons of layers of complexity. And but in the vineyard is a difficult grape because it's a grape that will produce very good yields one year, and then the next year the vineyard will be almost empty. And it is known as a finicky grape in the vineyard.
Yeah, and every year is very, very different.
Yeah. So usually make sure to give it a swirl. Maybe we can talk a little bit about what we get on this Viognier.
The first thing I think, which is the most important part, especially in this Viognier, is the aroma, the smell. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, you open the bottle.
Flowers
You open the bottle, and you know that you've opened a bottle of the Viognier in the room. It's like it just starts. The aromatics are so powerful, and they are and flowers, right? This episode is flowers, peppers, and shells, and flowers is because of this Viognier, especially look, we all know that sometimes the descriptions of wine are a little bit, go a little overboard with a poetics exaggeration. We're happy to partake sometimes with obviously tongue in cheek and a bit of a wink, but there's something really amazing about this one is that Felipe and I were hanging out. Sometimes we will go into the almshouse in the farm where we have the cellar, and we'll go into the second floor and we'll stay there drinking and talking until very late hours at night.
It's the creative space.
Yeah.
That's where all the good ideas have come from.
It's the workshop.
It's the workshop, exactly.
But anyways, this was a spring night, and I was walking outside, and we're both walking outside, and then Feli's locking the door, and it's maybe like 1 a.m. And I say, what is that? That's the Viognier. That's the Viognier. Where is it? And sure enough, we walked towards a tree of a star magnolia that was in full bloom. So it's that Asian magnolia varietal that is short and has a little white star, and the smell is exactly that. I mean, it's truly amazing. It has that like sweet floral to it. So it's kind of a little bit of honeysuckle and those kind of like spring white flowers, especially star magnolia, in the middle of the night.
At 1 a.m. to be exact.
At 1 a.m. to be precise. Yeah. So give it a good swirl, smell it. Also, please share with us what you're getting in it. If you get something.
If somebody's getting any kind of fruit or anything else, besides it's interesting to always talk about it because like any varietal, you always have kind of these guidelines of usually they tend to smell like this or taste like this. But yeah, it's interesting always to hear every perspective.
Yeah, and I do get some fruit in the nose as well. Almost like kind of like apricot peaches or like something. Yeah,
I usually get peaches on this one, but
yeah. In Viognier, you will often also find a bit of an herbal note, kind of like chamomile. Is that like sweet, again, white flowers, but more the chamomile is more towards the herbal than I think a lot of other ones like honeysuckle. But anyways, it is really, really beautiful. We are very proud to have made it. So these Viognier came from a vineyard. It's just one single south-facing slope of silt loam in Mount Airy, Maryland, and it's a very, very beautiful vineyard. And this was a blessed year, and it was just kind of all the elements came together for this Viognier to be.
Yeah, like I mentioned like we said in the last episode, 2019 was particularly good year in the East Coast. It was wonderful. It was dry. We
Yeah.
didn't have much rain. It was
great.
It was
Dry.
wonderful.
It was a
So
very
we're very
dry
excited
fall,
about.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
were very excited about all the 2019 vintages.
And you'll get when wines are a little bit underripe, you will get more of those herbal notes. And then when they reach that level of ripeness, that is very optimal, you'll start getting more of like the floral, the fruity. So I think this wine is a perfect example of kind of East Coast Maryland terroir of on a good year. It's just
And the
it's just
balance,
truly
yeah,
phenomenal.
just like-
it's very balanced. It has a nice acidity.
All right, so we're gonna
¿Cómo han dicho algo
No questions for now.
Okay,
no questions. So
so let's
if
go ahead.
anybody
Let's
wants to
move
ask, now is the
Yeah.
now is a good time.
on.
So we should start probably with the piquillo, peppers and goat cheese with balsamic reduction, which has been, if you guys have been here to the bodega, it's been one of the favorite pinchos that we've had.
Yeah.
We get tons of that. So
It's vegetarian.
it is vegetarian, yes. Thanks for that. So basically what we're gonna do is, again, it's very simple. The goat cheese, let's talk a little bit about, there's a misconception of what goat cheese really is a lot of times here in the US. When you talk about chèvre, it actually means goat. It's the literal translation is that. So when you say chèvre here in the US, a lot of times they think of exactly this, right? The semi-soft, spreadable cheese, and it really is just any kind of cheese that's made from goat, goat milk, right?
Sure.
There's tons of aged cheeses. This one particularly is one of my favorite ones because it is particularly tart and acidic, and it balances so well with the sugars, especially from the balsamic.
Yeah, the mixture, and this is kind of a famous mixture. Like goat cheese is used in a lot of kind of salads and in a lot of
Exactly.
dishes that have some kind of sweetness. This, if you just eat this on its own with honey or a balsamic reduction or something like that, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And then the balance of like acidity with sugar in dishes is, I think, is one of the most important things.
Absolutely.
So
Indeed.
yes, we're gonna put some of the goat cheese. I always kind of try to spread it very well. I am not using the torch this time because we're also open outside and we're serving food. Some of the food outside, so I only have one torch here.
The other torch is at my house.
Yes, exactly. Let me get one of the gloves. So I'm putting basically.
But if you have a torch, torch the bread.
Torch the bread,
everybody,
yes.
everybody by this point should have a torch.
Torch
If
the
you don't have a
bread.
torch, they sell them at Ace Hardware. The best torches.
Yeah,
truly.
it's literally the welding. Is a welding torch.
Don't
like
get
a small
any.
welding torch.
Don't get any of like the food torches. Get the ones from the hardware store.
Like commercially,
Yeah.
like for
the
welding.
ones for welding. Yeah,
Those are the perfect ones.
Those are the best for cooking.
Yes. So I'm putting basically just the piquillo peppers on top of the goat cheese when you spread it, and then just a drizzle of the balsamic. So piquillo peppers are from northern Spain. It's a sweet, is a very traditional sweet pepper from northern Spain. It's a little bit of a thicker skin, so it's kind of closer to the bell pepper. And it is the first thing they do. They pick them, fire roast them. After they're completely charred and black on the outside, they peel the skins off and they either jar them or put them in a can.
And a piece of advice for this, like you guys, anybody, I'm sure many of you have already done this, but if you haven't, just a red bell pepper from the store, and just turn on your fire stove and just leave it there as long as you want. That thing can burn and burn and burn
It's
and burn.
not
on the
gonna burn,
outside
yeah,
until it's
it's
completely
really
charred
not gonna burn.
outside. Let it cool for a little bit, and then just like go to the sink or to the trash can and
You
just
can peel it with a spoon.
peel off
just
with
like
a spoon, and the inside is just so sweet and smoky and beautiful.
Exactly. Then balsamic reduction is very easy to make. It's one of my favorite things, really, to like add some of the sweetness and acidity to a lot of the dishes. It's really balsamic vinegar, sugar, and on the stove, and reduce it. I don't like to do it with high heat because it can burn very easily. The sugar settles very, very fast, so just reduce it until it's a caramel. It's like,
One thing I'll say, the difference between when there's still quite a bit of water and when it's burned is very fast.
yeah, it's very fast. Exactly.
So
So you gotta be very careful, and especially at
it's
the
like
end,
it's
move
like
it.
boiling milk.
Exactly.
You know, it's like
You wanna
boiling
be
milk.
moving
If
it
you,
at
if
the
you
end.
boil your milk,
Uh-huh.
well, I don't think people boil milk anymore, but you know, we grew up boiling milk. But and if you boil your milk, because one of the problems is that it's not boiling, suddenly it's overflowing. And the
Yes.
same thing is with this.
Exactly.
It's like it's not reducing, suddenly it's burnt. So
Mhm.
just pay attention in the stuff.
Okay, so with the drizzle of balsamic, I do recommend to take a bite.
And I am actually today we have something very special. My parents are watching from over here, from a table that you can't see them. They're on the side, but they can come say hello. They can come say hello. But it's a very special day because
Hello,
it is
everyone.
my mom's birthday.
Oh,
Our
It is
mom's
her birthday, yeah.
This is the most amazing woman in the world that we know. She's the source of all the good things that we do, and you know, we're so happy.
And everything
So
we
happy
do
birthday.
is just because kind of they taught us. how. So-
oh, no.
Just a note towards this afternoon. They insisted that I wear a shirt like the one that they have. I was not able to get it out of the dry cleaner.
They lost it at the dry cleaner.
Yeah, they lost it. Fortunately, they lost it.
You will never use a shirt like
Yeah.
that. I know.
Well, thank you
I
all
am
for
so
being
proud
here
of
with
you
us.
guys.
Well, yeah.
Cheers.
And
Happy birthday,
yeah?
mama.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers
For Silvia.
for you
Salud.
guys.
Everyone is already saying happy birthday. So
Oh, thank you, everyone.
We will not say how old she's turning because it's not polite. But it's not very many years, I'll tell you that.
it's actually surprisingly
Yeah.
young. Yes. Yeah. What do you guys have any comments on the food, on the wine? How's everybody feeling?
The piquillo pepper, one thing I'll say, as Feli was saying before, it's one of the all-time favorites of when we are regularly open. It's one of the pinchos that people order the most. Especially Carla Mazzoni, if you're watching, we know it's your ultimate favorite.
Yes.
But you know, I feel like everybody just loves it. It's one of those things that it's so approachable, it's so balanced.
Mhm.
It has you know the peppery and the smoky, and it also has you know the acidity and creamy of the
Yeah.
cheese and with the sweet of the balsamic. It's really just a beautiful.
One thing I
beautiful
do love to add to this sometimes is some dill. Dill is an incredible herb to add. Just
Yeah.
add
So
a little
if
bit
you're
of
going-
the.
if
You
you're
have
going
some in the
dill,
fridge.
just put
Just
it.
add it because it's wonderful. It adds a little bit of the herbal.
Dill is
touch,
one of
but
those things that doesn't go well with
With
everything, but it goes
It's hard.
great with the things
Yeah.
where it belongs. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But cheers
Salud.
again. Okay, so.
So flowers, peppers. That was the pepper, right?
Okay, so
And
let's start
shells.
talking about the shells. All right. So, if you guys again have been here to the bodega and have tried any of the tin fish, we've used a lot of the Donostia. It's northern Spain. They have done a great job with all of the tin fish. The mussels is one of my favorite ones. A lot of like sentimental reasons for it. I guess we always had mussels in escabeche in the house.
We've always had mussels.
Always. Yes, always had mussels. And mussels in escabeche,
Oh, yeah.
well, look at that. Mussels in escabeche, there was always some of these things in the house.
The awesome thing about mussels in escabeche is that the tapa is already prepared, right? And so first of all, let's start by this. Like, what is escabeche sauce?
Exactly. So escabeche sauce is one of the. So it's basically like a vinegar-based sauce. It's sunflower oil, has cinnamon, has nutmeg, has garlic. So it has.
Does it have paprika? Does it have any paprika?
A very little,
Yeah,
very little amount of paprika. So it's basically these sauce, this oil, because a little bit thicker, that is basically pickling the mussel. They do a lot of bonito del norte tuna.
Also
as well
quail.
with
They
it.
actually do quail
actually.
in escabeche sauce. is a fascinating sauce because of the presence of the cinnamon and the nutmeg. It moves it really towards the aromatic, which is one of the reasons why we included it with this tasting. That is just that you have those. It's really a kind of pairing that plays up to the nose.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Exactly.
like it's amazing the aromatics that are playing here between nutmeg, cinnamon, you know, and the flowers of the wine. It's really beautiful.
Exactly.
And the mussels themselves are from Galicia.
So Galicia is known for having some of the best mussels in the world. They do great everything that's like mollusk. How do you say
mollusks?
Mollusks in English.
He's not from here.
Exactly. Foreign. So they're really well known for that, and it's mainly because the waters in northern Spain are perfect for them to develop. And
you know, I think we talked a little bit about this the other day, but it's like if you got the geographical shape in your head, it's like, you know, you have that corner, right? Where like Portugal and the northwestern Spain, and you have the Atlantic that kind of curves into the Cantabrian Sea.
Mhm.
And those are just like very cold waters that bring some of the most amazing seafood in the world. And so, and that is partly why all those rugged coasts of northern Spain and northwestern Spain are composed of just people that are completely obsessed with eating all things from the sea.
Exactly. Then, so because it's kind of like a pickled sauce, pretty much. I love to pair if you are here in Chestertown or in the Eastern Shore, you probably have had some of Oksana's pickled carrots. I think they are phenomenal.
Yeah, fellow lovers of Wendellberry, Oksana.
Fellow lovers of Wendellberry.
We love
Exactly, she
Wendellberry.
does incredible. We do love Wendellberry, but she does incredible. Honestly, anything that's pickled by her, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
The carrots are particularly good. I use them a lot here, and they're basically pickled with garlic, vinegar, salt, pepper, and cilantro.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is very simple.
Sorry.
Right, I'm gonna just put the pickled carrots, like a bed of the pickled carrots that you guys have, and then the mussel on top. Make sure you put as much of the sauce as you can on top of it. Just drizzle it on top.
The pleasure of this pincho is equally proportionate to the messiness.
Exactly. The more messy you get, the better you're doing.
The general rule for life, actually.
For eating is exactly that way.
Absolutely. Well, cheers.
Yeah. Salud.
Salud. That was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh,
no,
we have a lot of questions.
no, it's many happy birthday wishes for my mom.
Happy birthday.
Bob had asked if you want to drain the mussels. No, that is kind of the main thing about these mussels is the sauce. The sauce is incredible. So you should try and drain. Put as much as you can on top of the bread. If the bread is a little bit moist and a little bit wobbly, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah. The sauce is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is like these mussels also, you can just open a can anytime and just put them on a cracker and it's phenomenal. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up, we did it. We always had them. It was a little bit of lemon,
and that, yeah, or not
eat that,
or
and
just the mussel,
and just
yeah.
like eat them with bread, with
yeah.
and with
We
crackers.
used to do also here at in the bodega. We were doing at the very beginning. I remember
It was in the first menu.
in the first menu we did. We were doing a bit of a punk approach to these mussels, which was it was a mussels in escabeche hot dog. So on a hot dog bun, these mussels with an aioli and the pickled
with
carrots.
an aioli, the pickled carrots, and
Yeah.
then just microgreens.
Yeah.
It was one of my.
We'll bring it.
favorites we've had in the
We'll
menu,
bring it
actually.
back
We'll
at
bring
some
it back,
point.
yeah.
But it's amazing. If you were ever here and you didn't try it, well, do it. when we bring it
So
back.
we have. Okay, so a couple of comments. They love the mussels. They love the carrots. Do you eat the mussels on a bread, slices toasted? Yes. if you toasted the bread, is even better always. Just because it adds a little bit of the crunch to whatever you're eating. I think that the
And that
texture
smoke, and
is
that smoke
very,
is
very,
really
very
good,
important.
But hey, at the same time, look, actually, I'm going to disagree with you here. Felipe and I have different perspectives on this. I think there's a remarkable virtue to just freshly baked bread, preferably evergrain, that is completely untouched, you know, and then
that is true. That is true. I do like to toast the bread a little bit more than you do.
Yeah,
that is true.
But that's okay, you know, people can be different. We can have different opinions.
We can have the same shirt,
Yeah.
but different opinions, you know?
Same shirt, different opinions.
Then we have a question about Baltimore, about the date when we are opening in Baltimore.
Okay, so let me say a couple of things about that. For anybody that doesn't know, we just finished building last year our winery in Baltimore. It's an amazing facility. It's called the Wine Collective, and it's a kind of a co-op, a collective of wineries and vineyards that come together under one roof to make exceptional wine. And our tasting room, everything was ready to open in late March. We couldn't open for obvious reasons, but we are ready to open, and we're hoping that it'll be sometime in late June, early July. Again, like our priority with that is, you know, safety. We want everybody to feel safe and comfortable, and, you know, our customers, our employees, everyone. So we are right now just taking all the necessary measures for that to happen and to be totally ready, so that when Governor Hogan and when the Baltimore authorities say, sure, you can open, we're you know, ready to open. But please do come visit us over there when we open, because it is the most beautiful bar I've ever seen.
And it's a particular experience, because you're going to be it's in the middle of the winery, so you have sitting in the middle of the tanks.
So the bar is smack in the middle of the winery, right? So you're basically drinking wine and eating food.
Exactly. And you're seeing all the tanks, seeing all the barrels. You're in the middle of where we are really doing everything. Where our hands get dirty.
That's right.
So
so
please
it's
come
really
to visit
cool
whenever you can. A couple of comments. They say the wine is perfect with these tapas. Thank you. We put some thought into that.
One thing I should also say about the wine, in terms of the process, this was stainless steel fermented for 72 days. Okay, that is an insanely long fermentation period. Very, very long. And what that does is, the longer the fermentation period, general rule, there's always exception to the rules. But what it does is it generally is able to like capture aromatics. And I think that is why this wine is such a perfect example. It was cold fermented at around 50, 56 degrees for a period of 72 days in stainless steel. So it maintains that minerality, that freshness, and captures really all of those aromatics in just such a phenomenal way. I mean, you know, it really is a personal favorite of this. It is of this vintage. Yeah.
I'm really happy that we were able to come up with it.
Not to say that we don't love our other children. We love all our children equally. But.
So somebody is asking, what's the best way to eat the carrots? So I have used them in a lot of different ways, actually. I personally love them with sandwiches, because I love pickled stuff, the stuff with sandwiches. The acidity and the crunch that with any pickled vegetable is always incredible to have in sandwiches. I have used them personally in sandwiches that I eat for myself when I'm here during the middle of the day. With any of the cured meats, you add a little bit of this, some more greens, and some kind of aioli, and it's incredible.
Well, the aioli is interesting, right? Because it also provides that contrast between the acidic and the creamy, which in the case of this pincho, that role is played by the cheese, right? You have a kind of creamy cheese that has its own kind of acidity, which is also interesting, and that's why it stands on its own. But that relationship between creamy and acid, between fat and acid, is where the heart of good food is.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Well, and fresh ingredients.
You said this is a limited release. How many cases do you have? That is a good question.
We bottled. It should say in the.
We have
How
exactly.
many cases of this? I don't think it says in this particular label.
Well,
But we don't.
no, yeah. No,
No, that's the vintage.
Yeah.
We have about 110 cases, something like that. The reason why it's limited release is because the continued, because obviously 100 cases is a very small amount, but or relatively small amount, but more so is because the availability of this quality of grape year after year is very hard to guarantee, right? So if in 2020 it's not there, simply there's not going to be a 2020 Viognier. Now, if it is, we might still do it. But
I mean, yeah, exactly.
We play by ear with this
Exactly.
stuff. It's like if the real quality of the fruit is there,
we'll bring it.
we'll do it. But if it's not,
Yeah.
we'll pass. One thing that we really try to do at Casa Carmen, and that we will take to our grave is we rather perish than serve you something mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, we just don't want to have anything that we wouldn't drink ourselves, and that's exactly what we do with this kind of wine. So,
And for all the Ecuadorians out there that would say, "Oh, you would drink anything," is not true.
that was a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Anyways, are there any other questions? Do people want to know anything else about anything?
Somebody signed up a little bit late and is asking about exactly what is this wine. And again, it is our limited release Viognier. We're very, very happy with this. So
Yeah, it's a Viognier that was stainless steel fermented from vintage of 2019 from a vineyard in Mount Airy, Maryland. Exciting thing about kind of the grape. So Viognier, as I said before, is from Northern Rhone. That's kind of the origin of the grape, but it was almost dead by the 60s or 70s. There was almost no Viognier planted in the world. And fortunately, it was sort of rediscovered, and now it's planted almost everywhere, including like Australia, California. But interestingly, it is doing very well in this region. Virginia has become a bit of a staple. It's a bit of a staple of a Viognier, Virginia, and Maryland is kind of doing the same thing. There's quite a few really good Maryland Viogniers, which is if you're interested in doing comparative tastings, this is a wonderful thing to do. Highly recommended. Like, get your Casa Carmen Viognier and then buy a couple of other Viogniers.
yes, buy French Viognier,
maybe another Maryland, maybe another Virginia,
buy
maybe
California as well, because
a French one in California, and you'll see. What's awesome about that is that you really can see like how the terroirs affect the
exactly
wine.
different expressions of something,
The same thing.
of exactly the same thing, but they express themselves in very, very different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I always recommend to do with any wine that you're drinking. Really, it's always great to compare them to different places where they're being made.
Totally agree. And are there any other questions?
Is great to look. Yeah, just comments. It is great having a local vintner creating drinkable, great group of wines. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're
Creating what?
Creating a drinkable, great group of wines. So just
Awesome.
kind of like a.
So, drinkable. Let's talk about drinkability
Exactly.
for a second.
That has always been a priority for us since day one.
And drinkable, I think sometimes people think that drinkable means kind of like, oh, this is kind of like barely drinkable, For us, drinkable means something very different. It's like when we think about what type of wines we want to make, drinkability is one of the very, very top priorities. I mean, like drinkability, nuance, complexity, all these things are up there. And part of the reason is because we have seen some of the excesses of the new world in terms of, sacrificing drinkability at the altar of just size and power, right?
Bigger is not always better.
Bigger is not always better. Say the two Ecuadorians that are like, 5'10". But
Exactly.
yeah, bigger is not always better. But really, I mean, like there was such a tendency over the past, like 30 years towards making big wines that you have one glass of and you have a headache and you're done. And one of our missions is to kind of help revive that approach to wine that is so old world, that is like, wine is meant to be drunk.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
meant to
supposed
have
to be
at the
able
table,
to,
you're supposed to drink it.
to have it for lunch, to have it for
Yeah.
dinner, and kind of have a
Or
glass of
even
wine.
to create a bridge between lunch and dinner.
Exactly. It's like the whole
Yeah.
day. You should be able to drink it and whenever you want to, and it's just a part of the culinary experience as well. So
Yeah.
if you're cooking, you should be having a glass of wine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If not,
If
you're
you're not
cooking.
drinking wine when you're cooking, yeah,
You're not cooking.
yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Especially about like the wine? No. No. We are good.
Well,
Yeah.
we are kind of towards the end of our usual timeline. So if there is no more questions, we'll talk about a little bit about the next episode.
Yeah.
So as usual, you can order our kits through, if you're a wine club member, just call or email Felipe.
Mhm.
If you're not, you can order them online. If you want to participate but don't want, say, like, let's say, for example, that you don't like octopus. Okay, I'm not going to judge too much.
It's a little bit crazy.
A little bit crazy. Okay, you don't like octopus. You know what? We could.
But
still
yes, but
maybe
get the wine. Get the
Yeah,
wine.
but you can still participate with the wine. Anyways, you can just order it and participate in the tastings. It's very easy to do online. We deliver for free in kind of all of King County,
Local,
pretty much, and free for orders over $100 anywhere. So yeah. Anyways, order your kits, order your wine. Next episode is going to be 2 approaches to octopus. It's fast. It's a very interesting, I think, project, because in some ways it is getting to the same food but from very different angles, and having a smoked Alaskan octopus with a kind of Peruvian, Ecuadorian inspired sauce on the one hand, and then having a very typical like Spanish octopus it's prepared in a typical Galician style.
Spanish, exactly.
El
Yeah.
pulpo a la gallega.
Question, Enrique?
Yeah, it's one of the ones that I'm the most excited about actually on food wise, because I personally, octopus is one of my favorite things.
Enrique, I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Neil. I have a question.
Yes, true.
I have some aioli that I made a day before yesterday, and you were referring to aioli, but I missed what sort of blend, what do you mix with aioli when you're eating these kinds of things, mussels and otherwise?
Well, aioli is actually more versatile than people think it is. I personally,
You can put it on your eggs if you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, the whole concept of aioli is like in Latin America we use it a lot more than people use it here in the US. We use it for a lot when you're eating a lot of meats. You always have a little bit of aioli on the side, and you just like dip and eat. It just brings a little bit, because of the oil and the emulsification process of making aioli. It just brings a little bit of the texture with acidity, because you're also adding either vinegar or lemon to.
It's the perfect marriage of fat and acid, right?
Exactly.
And you can use it. So, for example, in this, if you have aioli on hand, what I would do is I would just put a layer of aioli on the bread, put the carrots, and then the mussels, and it's gonna be beautiful.
That's exactly what the mussel sandwich,
which is what
salsa that we're doing
our
here was.
original kind of like mussels, escabeche mussels bun. That's here at the
That's
White House.
exactly what
That's
it
what
was.
he had. Right.
We're doing that right now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. If you don't have aioli, mayonnaise works. Don't look down on mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise
If
is
you-
underrated in the US.
If you've ever said anything bad about mayonnaise, just never do it again, because it's a beautiful, beautiful ingredient. And actually, if you want to cheat, if you don't want to do it from scratch because you have a emulsification phobia, which does exist.
No, and it's hard.
America's-
It's not easy to have to make it.
Johns Hopkins just came out with a study about emulsification phobia. But anyways, if you cannot emulsify, you can totally take some mayonnaise, add some olive oil, add some garlic, put in
A
the
little bit
blender,
of
blend it up.
vinegar.
Yeah.
I always add a little bit of vinegar. It gives it. It actually makes it more creamy.
Yeah, it's great.
Than you think.
Awesome.
There's people asking about. Well, first, when is the next tasting?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday at the same
Yeah.
time.
And one thing that I should say about that too, it's going to be our 2018 Tinto with the octopus. It's interesting because I think that the general rules of pairing wines don't really pair red wine with fish very often, or at least not generally. In Spain, it is a very traditional thing to do your pulpo, your octopus with a Rioja wine.
Mm.
And there's something really beautiful that comes out of that pairing, out of that marriage. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Then Bob is asking. He's asking me the shirt.
Okay.
You gotta come talk to us in the back of the alley later at night.
Out of the trunk of the car.
We got a guy.
We should make some shirts. We got a guy. Yeah, we got a guy.
Hey, Ann Masoni, are you in New York?
And he's in New York. Yeah.
All right.
And are you okay?
Hi, Anne.
Well, yeah.
What's the question?
Does anybody have a little bit more questions about the wines? I see.
We will
Oh,
leave.
look at Anne.
We will leave the chat on. If people are more than welcome to stay, we'll leave the Zoom on for a while so everybody can just
Stay and party.
stay and party.
I would like to nominate Bill and Kay McIntosh for the best setting from their kayaks.
I know. I see them. They're in a kayak. Are they in the river? Where are they? It looks like they're having more fun than we are. Actually.
They are fishing the mussels themselves.
Let's see the wine. Let's see the wine. Hey, Bill and Kay, hold up the glasses.
Jeez.
All right.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Yes. Oh, yes. Look at them.
Drink and paddle at the same time, huh?
Want more wine or are you done?
Somebody is saying that we need masks out of the same shirt.
Oh, masks out of the shirt. That is brilliant. Do we have any people that are that have a sewing ability out there?
Yeah, I don't.
We can
myself,
find it. We
but-
can find the fabric.
Yeah.
But that is a good idea. Yeah, vegetables.
Yes.
And we are entering the best season of vegetables.
I am one of my favorite things about summer. Leaving the weather aside, it is tomato season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tomato season. It is the best part of the year.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. And you know, in terms of like, go to the farmers market. I'm sure all of you do this already, but if you don't, just go to the farmers market, buy anything as much as you can, and then just light a fire and put it on the grill.
Yep.
And do that all summer and drink Casa Carmen wines, and your happiness level will be through the roof.
Yep.
Fermented for the seemingly incurable,
Incurable
for the
sadness.
eradication of seemingly incurable sadness.
sadness. Exactly.
Anyways, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. As usual, we love you guys. It is, we wouldn't be here without you. This is a tight-knit community, and COVID is not going to stop us.
Oh no.
So,
We have one more question.
what
Was
is
the
that?
Viognier grown in Maryland before?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's been there's been a lot of people trying to grow it already in Maryland for a while, and
Yeah, and kind of
great.
usual suspects. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure Black Ankle has a wonderful Viognier.
Black Ankle does,
Um,
yes.
You can trust Black Ankle and everything that they do. So if you haven't tried Black Ankle wines, try them. They're phenomenal.
They do a
Great
job, yes.
winery in Maryland. Same thing with Dodon Vineyards. Wonderful stuff. I think they have Viognier as well. But yeah, there's definitely quite a few people growing Viognier on the East Coast and the Middle. Try those because they're great.
This is delicious. This is delicious.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Yes.
And we're gonna leave the Zoom a little bit open for everybody to chat and drink some wine. And
We love you, everybody.
while we clean up.
Never
I
change. I will see you next
Birthday,
Saturday.
Sylvia.
So, Anne, is it a view of your from your apartment that you showed us? That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
And then
So I look at Lower East
the
Side.
birthday girl is here
Village.
again.
Nice.
Nice.
Hola.
Everybody.
Gracias.
Bye, everyone.
So one of my
Thank
mom's
you,
best
Miss
friends
May.
growing up is here today, which is wonderful to have her with us, Lola.
Hi,
We
Lola.
have known each other since we were 6 years old. So
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful way to connect and to have this to celebrate.
Looks like Bill's talking too, but he's on mute.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
You still there? We were muted.